Hello my friend and welcome back. My name is Hana and today I'm going to be playing with the new Colourpop Aurora palette. So if you're curious about what I'm wearing on my face, what I mentioned in today's video, and what I'm doing in other pockets of the internet, I always have links in the description box down below. Today's video is kind of full of a number of new things, so let me just go down the list before we get to the things that you're actually here for. I did pick up the Rare Beauty concealer brush to go with the foundation brush that I have, and I actually really enjoy it. I like how small and tiny it is that I could get in there. It works really well with the NYX concealer serum. If you're new to my channel, that's my favorite concealer. It's my holy grail. This is really nice. I actually also picked up the Fenty Eavesdrop in shade 9. I'm wearing this currently, and I mean, it's like lovers reuniting. I really love this skin tint. It is my favorite. It is my favorite face product. This is my staple, my holy grail. This and the NYX concealer serum. I have been using the Sephora Best Skin Ever, which I do like, but I've been using this for the past few days, and I'm really happy this is at Ulta. I have an Ulta closer to me than a Sephora, so it was really nice that I could go inside the Ulta and shade match. I was using the shade 8 for a long time, and it's just a little bit too light and a little bit too pinky red of an undertone for me, and this one is just perfect. And what else? Oh, I also did pick up the Colourpop Super Shock Bronzer in shade I'll Bet, so I'll be using that as well. I'm gonna save blush and everything towards the end based on what my eye look looks like. But let's open her up and let's take a look. So I'm not a huge fan of big eyeshadow palettes. I have almost bought the Cold Stone Fox palette a number of times, and then they came out with like a smaller version of it, and I almost bought that as well, and then I just didn't. And I wasn't really in the market for a new palette, but when I saw this color story, I had to have it. I had to have it. I love greens, I love blues, I love pinks, I love purples, and it's got like this darker gray row over here. It kind of suits everything that I need. But what I was really excited about when I saw this palette is that it does have a number of different formulas. But I think some of them are also some of them are Super Shock formulas, but also some are duochromes, I believe is what they said. And I love the Super Shock formula if it's the same one from the quad. I've heard that the quality of these larger palettes is like of the good Colourpop formula. So I'm really excited to dive in. I don't quite know what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna try my best to, I don't know, put as many colors as I can without getting too crazy. But let's zoom in so we can get a close-up look of what I'm doing. Okay, so I am wearing this like pink lilac sweater, but I do want to play with these greens and these blues. I love how the rows are organized. If you look down horizontally, it's like a brown row, a purple row, a blue row, a green row, and then like, well, I'm not quite sure what kind of look I want to do, but looking at the palette, I love how it's organized. So kind of going horizontally. That first row was kind of more like neutral brown tones, and then we have more of like a lilac purple tone, and then these seem to be more of like a blue greenish kind of shade range, because then we have like a green row, a blue row, and then like that gray row. Who am I kidding? I love to play with, I love to play with purples and greens. Let's do that. Let's play with some purples. I'm gonna take the shade No Sleep, and I'm gonna bring that right into my crease, I think. I'm gonna bring it right in here. Kind of blend that in. I am using a white base primer from ABH. I know that these are like softer colors and I really wanted them to pop, so I used more of a white base primer. It's not my favorite primer to use. I don't know. I like it to make the color pop, but I don't quite like working shadows on top of it, if that makes sense. So I'm sacrificing, I don't know, I guess ease for me over color, like over, I was gonna say over Colourpop, over the color popping, but I think it'd be worth it. This is a really pretty shade. It doesn't have a mirror in the palette, so I'm looking at the mirror in front of me, and I'm trying my best to blend that out as best I can. There. Next, I'm going to take the shade Journey, which is like this bright blue. It's just calling my name. And I'm going to take this on the outer corner, but I'm going to sweep it through the lid, because I'm going to use this as like a base shade. That is really, there's a shade like this in the ABH Opal palette. That palette is no longer available, so if you didn't get your hands on it but you were looking for this kind of like pop of blue, this is my favorite kind of blue, where it's more of like a true blue. It doesn't have like a green or a tealy kind of base. It's blue and green. Is that what teal is? It's just a true like primary blue, but in pastel form. I think that's so pretty. And then I'm going to go back in with that previous brush I used and just kind of blend those edges out, because I want to keep the purple in the crease. And then what am I going to do next? I'm going to take, do I want to take Enosphere or do I want to take Orca? I'm gonna take Orca just because it's like the deeper blue, and I'm gonna pop that in the outer corner and just kind of sweep it in through the crease. Oh, this is a really pretty palette already. I like this wash of the blue. I am going in with the light hand because it is a deeper shade, but it almost seems like it kind of blends in almost like a watercolor. I would suggest going in light-handed if you're like me, because I know I go in very heavy-handed and I do too much. It's always easier to build up than it is to take away. I really like how this is carving the shape of my eye. That's really pretty. Okay, so then I'm gonna take a green shade. I don't know which one I want to take. Do I want to take the shade Arctic Fox? I think so. Am I using any of the duochromes that I wanted to use? Probably not. I'm gonna take this shade Arctic Fox because it is like this green shade. I'm going to see if I can't use this as a topper. I am going to spray my brush, but I always do that with my metallic shimmer, glitter, whatever kind of shade. I looked in here as if there was a mirror. I always do that regardless because I don't know, I just think it helps application. And I'm going to put this on the inner corner, because I think it has more of like a transparent base. So I want to keep that blue on my lid without getting, but still keeping the green. I really just kind of want to do the color story on the front, kind of, and play with as much color as I can. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with that No Sleep shade and just kind of, again, blend that purple out. I don't want to lose it. There we go. I'm gonna go in with Radio Waves, and I'm just gonna take it on a smaller brush because I'm gonna use it to kind of blend out my green Arctic Fox shade. Again, spraying my brush. And I'm just gonna take it right here, right in the center, to kind of blend this blue and green together without losing either of the shades. And then I'm gonna go back in with that Orca shade, and I'm just gonna tap it in to make it a little bit deeper. Blend it out. And then go back in with, what is it called? Radio Waves. Just make sure everything's nice and blended. Okay, and then what do I want to do in my lower lash line? I wish that there was a deep matte purple. All the purple seem to be more of a metallic. I'm going to take the shade Enosphere because it's, I don't know, I feel like it's in between that brown and that purple. And I'm just going to tap this in my lower lash line. And just kind of bring it up. There we go. Okay, what else do I want to do? I have this heavy metal like glitter liner from Urban Decay. Should I just put that on anyway, just cause? I don't know. Why not? I'm gonna lightly line my lash line. It is a very pretty pinky kind of iridescent glitter liner. I mean, I don't know if you guys could really see it. I can see it, but I don't know if you guys can see it on camera. And then I'm going to take a blue liner in my waterline, and then I'm going to do my other eye off of camera. When I come back, we'll do bronzers, lips, and blush, and we can talk about the palette. Okay, so I finished up my look. I also wanted to mention a new mascara that I got, but then I also don't know if this is available still, question mark. I picked up the Makeup Revolution. I know. I picked up the Makeup Revolution Alien Lash Mascara, and I think this is from like a collection that's a few months old. I didn't even realize this came out. This was the last one at my Ulta, and I only picked it up because I went in to pick up my normal Sky High mascara, and they just released a new tint that I was going to pick up and see if I liked that a little bit more. And then that was sold out, but then one of the girls there, she was just like, oh, you know what, I've really been loving this mascara, and it's been hard to keep it in stock. It is really, really good, and it's $10. It was super affordable, and I actually really like it. I love the brush. At least the brush itself, like, you know, it's just one of these like nice comb ones, where I can see the like product, I don't know, not caking in, and I can pull the product through my lash. The formula is okay. It doesn't hold as well as the Sky High, but I mean, I will keep the brush and use that with the Sky High formula just to see what's going on. But so far I like it. It's really nice, and it's super easy to like take off. Sometimes my lashes feel really like I put them through it, but taking that one off like is pretty fine, and all my lashes are still on my face, so that's pretty nice. Let's talk about the bronzer. So today's look, because I'm already doing such an eye look, I kind of just want to go light with everything else, so I'm not really gonna contour. I like to use a cooler kind of bronzing shade to contour because I do like to kind of chisel out my cheekbones here and shape my face. I don't really need to add, well, I do add a little bit of bronzer just to add warmth around my face. But today I'm just going to add warmth. That's what I'm going to do. So this is the Super Shock formula for their bronzer, which is interesting because I love these Super Shock blushes. I love these Super Shock highlights. I particularly love when the Super Shock blushes are of, I don't know, not the matte formula, but the like shimmery formula, because then they kind of double up as highlights for me depending on the shade. So I'm going to go in with an angled fluffy brush. This kind of brush is typically what I like to use to contour and get bronzer on my face anyway, because I like having the chiseled angle to just kind of blend it in. And since this isn't really like a contour shade, I'm not going to apply it below my cheekbone. I'm going to apply it above. Anyway, as I was saying, I love the Super Shock formula, but we'll see how this bronzer goes, because I've heard really good things, and from people who love the Super Shock formula like I do, and from people who don't really care for it but really liked this product. So we'll see. That's the thing with the Super Shock formula, is that you do kind of have to build it up onto the brush and tap it in. But so far it's very effortless and easy to apply, just like the blushes and the highlights. I like to stamp in my bronzer just so like the shade is on my face, but I don't know, like applying bronzer and contour, you're adding shadows and things and color to your face, so you don't really need a harsh line like you would, you know, when chiseling out your eyes. It's just more about adding the tone to your face, and this is applying really easily. Like, this is really nice. I am going to take a smaller brush because I do like to kind of contour my nose in a way, but I'm not going to go too crazy. I just like to add the warmth to my face on my nose, because I don't know, your nose sticks out, so of course the sun is going to catch it, and that's where you want to apply your bronzers. Any high points that would get into the light. Beautiful. I don't want to say I'm pleasantly surprised, because then it sounds like I was anticipating it not being a good bronzer, but I am a little shook. It is really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the shade Chiffon. This is available still. I don't really want to do too crazy of a highlight and things like that. So I'm going to do a 2-in-1 with this blush. There we go. And I'm just going to dab it in. There we go. And I do a little bit on my nose just because, again, my nose catches all the light, so whatever I apply to the high points of my cheeks, I match it on my nose. Okay, I think that looks so cute. I am going to go in with an oldie but a goodie still. I haven't quite used this in a while. I'm going in with the Limecrime Wet Cherry Fairy Cherry Lip Gloss. I do not know if this is available anymore. I don't know what's going on with Limecrime. It used to be one of my favorite brands. But I'm going to apply this because I like the glitter and the shine. And again, I'm not doing anything too crazy to my face. And there we go. Let me zoom out and give you some of my final thoughts and opinions. So this is the final look, and I'm really pleased with this palette. So I don't know, I feel like this video is kind of long, so I'm going to try my best to get to the point. This is a cool toned palette. If you do not like cool tones, this isn't the palette for you. Pastels can be cool toned, they can be warm toned. I think it just depends. Like my BH Lost in Los Angeles palette, I think a lot more of those pastels are a little bit more warm leaning, even though pastels, I think just in nature, are a bit cool toned, hence being lighter because it's adding more white. I do think that the base tone of them can be a little bit warmer. This is definitely a lot cooler. I'm a huge fan of cooler tones. I don't really have a preference of warm tone or cool tone. I guess because I live in that like neutral yellow undertone, I can kind of take advantage of both. I think it just depends on what I'm feeling. And I love today's look. I think it looks really pretty. I can't wait. Like, I'm almost tempted to just wash my face and then play with more shades. But this is a really cute eye look, and I love it with the sweater. Like, I can't wait to go into work and be like, hi, hello, Northern Lights over here. It's a really pretty palette. I love that there's different formulas in this palette. I tried my best to kind of play around with some of the different formulas. There are some that have like the glitter in the mix, so there's no pressed glitters. I'm personally not a huge fan of pressed glitters. They're just harder for me to blend into my eye and kind of get the shimmer, kind of shiny look that I'm going for. And so I kind of lean more towards the glitter in the formula kind of combination that they have. Although I will say, if it's something like what they had in the Sailor, I think they've come a long way from the Sailor Moon collection and the Lizzie McGuire collection, because the glitter in those, like the embedded glitter formula in those palettes, I think walked so this one could run. But I think this is just a really gorgeous palette. I didn't buy anything else from the collection because, if I'm being honest, I have Kaleidos highlighters. I have a few different highlighter palettes that have different like tones. I have a green, I have a blue, I have a purple, I have a pink highlight. I really didn't need any more, even though I was tempted to try out the highlighter sticks, because I know that the blush stick formula has updated and changed and it's way more improved. And I've seen people really love the highlighter formula. I just didn't need those shades. It wasn't for me. I'm not really in the market for another highlighter in that capacity. And the lip oils. I had this lip gloss and I want to use it and just be done with it. Although I do love it. It's one of those things where like I don't want to use it because I want to have it forever, but then I want to use it because it's absolutely gorgeous and pretty. But I mean, here's the thing. Those lip oils, they'll stay in stock for a while, so if I really, really needed to have my hands on it, I could always buy it. I don't think that this collection is going anywhere anytime soon, because I mean, all the other larger palettes, they're still in rotation. But the lip oils, I don't know. I don't hate the lip oil formula from Colourpop, but I have other lip oils in my collection that I gotta get through and just be done with it. My lip declutter will be coming this week. And what else was in that collection? I don't, there's the dry oil. I'm not gonna buy anything like that, especially because I have like this melt highlight, and like this is a lot of like pink highlight. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. They did come out with like this jelly base thing, and if you were interested in that but you were totally scared of like the jelly formula, I would highly suggest either this melt, what are these called? The Sex Foils. This is in the shade Fetish. And then the, I mean, if you didn't want to support melt, Nabla has the Angel Aura. This has like hyaluronic acid in it and it's more of a primer. But both of these you can put on underneath like your foundation and it kind of gives you that pinky kind of glow. Or you can kind of lightly dab it in, you know, use it as like a primer on your eye and put your shadows on top and it'll still give that pink glow. I don't know. I didn't pick that item up only because I knew that I had these two items, so I really didn't need it, but it did kind of catch my attention. I do think that it's cool that they're trying to try different things, although I know that it's scary, those like really goopy, goppy kind of formulas. But I think that's it as far as like the Aura collection is concerned. I love the bronzer. Again, I knew I was gonna love it, but I didn't think I was gonna love it this much. I kind of almost, do they have them in a cool tone? Are they gonna make like a contour shade? If they have a cool tone shade, I think I'm gonna pick it up and use it to contour because it's really good. And I thought that I was loving the Kaleidos contour shade in that new trio. I might be buying more things from Colourpop. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Did you pick up this palette? Were you considering picking up this palette? I don't know. It's also one of those things where you don't necessarily need to buy the large palette. I'm not a huge fan of large palettes by any means, but this color story really like speaks to me specifically. These are the kind of tones that I like. I wouldn't buy a big giant palette like this of just neutrals. I would just buy, I don't know, I guess for me this works out because I do love these color tones. This works for me, and it's not just a big giant palette of neutrals is what I'm trying to say. But let me know in the comments down below, what are your thoughts and opinions? I would love to hear from you. And I don't know, I have some videos coming out this week. Because I missed my declutter last week, you will be getting 2 declutter videos this Thursday. So keep an eye out for that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.